He's got the red, white, blue, flying high on the farm. Semper Fi tattooed on his left arm. Spent a little more in the store for a tag. In the back it says USA. He won't buy nothing and he can't fix. With WD-40 and a Craftsman wrench, he ain't French or dust. He's just made in America.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective, episode number 8. And today we're going to be talking about the City Council meeting that took place yesterday, March the 2nd. Today is the evening of March the 3rd, and we're going to talk about the meeting went 5 hours-ish last night. Nice to see a number of folks on there watching the streaming version on YouTube. It's always good to see that. I was actually able to watch the whole thing live, time permitted. And so what we're going to do tonight is discuss two of the major issues that I gleaned out of that I thought were most important from council meeting last night. And I want to start off by saying both these things are in the works. So these aren't issues that have been decided or were voted on last night. They're proposals that are actually in the works and will be decided on later. The first one we're going to talk about is the hero pay for grocery workers, and most people already know what that is. Those who don't, it's a proposal presented by Ms. Harrison, who's our city manager, to the council, asking for approval to create an ordinance that gives $4 an hour in hazard pay, so to speak, to grocery store frontline workers. Now, it's important to mention that these the ones in question that would be receiving the $4 raise are to be the ones that work for some national chains, Vons, Kroger, Ralph's. I believe Trader Joe's is in there. So it would be the major national chains. Now, what I'm not going to do is try to make a judgment on whether or not I think grocery workers should or shouldn't make more money. I think they do great work. In fact, one of the folks that called in yesterday, we recognized her voice from the Vons. It was neat to hear her calling in and making herself known. What I am going to do is talk about my opinion on whether or not I think this is a good idea. And it's pretty simple for me. I don't think that the government, local, state, national, should be in the business of picking winners or losers in private business. And I don't believe that they have a role in deciding who should make more money, who should make less money, regardless if we're in a pandemic or not. So it's as simple as that for me. I just don't think that's the government's place to be doing that. I know people will disagree. I think that there was some debate, a lot of debate on the, not the dais, but on the Zoom call last night, on mostly the challenge. This is no surprise, were the questions. I shouldn't say challenge, but Don Harper was asking a lot of really pertinent questions, like why he asked why just these national chains, why not CVS, why not other businesses, Home Depot. I could throw in Ace Hardware, medical device place right down the street where I get some of my gear for work. And her answer to that question was, well, it's because, it was kind of a weird answer. Her answer was because grocery store workers, it has to do with the how long they've been exposed to COVID people, the duration, their continuous duration of being exposed. And I just thought that, for one, I think this is a bad idea to start. Two, I thought that was a weird answer. Also, he was asking where they had come up with this. They just struggled to justify the reasons for why this particular industry should receive it. And I'm not saying they should or shouldn't make more money. I'm just saying it's not the city government's role to decide that. And even more importantly, the main reason I'm against it is I just straightforward think this is a goodie from Mayor Foley to the UFCW Local 324. For those of you who don't know, that's a union, the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. The Local 324 is a specific union that would be representing these grocery workers. And I think that Mayor Foley, as we know, she's running for Orange County Supervisor. You can look it up. This particular union is heavily invested in her mayoral campaign before, in her failed Senate run, and now in her supervisor run. I think it's simply a goodie. for the unions from Mayor Foley. And that's where I am. I know there's going to be disagreement on that. For that reason, and also I don't think that government should be picking winners and losers. Therefore, I think this is a bad idea. And it's going to, they're going to go back, from what I could tell, how it was left, do some more research, get some questions answered for the council, and then come back and revisit it at a later time. So that is that on the Hero Pay initiative. Now we had the approval. What they were doing is, this is the first blush at approve the proposed staffing plan for the implementation of the retail cannabis tax and regulation measure Q. So that is, we're talking retail weed here. And again, what I'm not going to do here is try to debate whether or not I think retail weed is good or bad, smoking weed is good or bad. But the Measure Q is voted in by the public, therefore it is in, and we are in business, and I think that we should honor the wishes of the voters. Now, the staffing plan they laid out is where I have an issue. So they take the estimated, they take the estimated the receipts from the sales tax. They made a big estimate that annually that will take in $3 million in tax revenue from retail cannabis. And then they went on to what they're doing here is they're asking for 7 FTE. For those of you that don't know what FTE stands for, it stands for full-time equivalent, which I'll get into a little bit more here in a bit. Ms. Harrison asked specifically for development services needs 3 full-time FTE. This is all just for the cannabis Measure Q retail sales. Finance department gets 1 full-time equivalent. Police 2. Fire department 1.25. So a total of 7-ish FTE. For it's really gonna shake out. That would be $1.2 million fully loaded annually. Now, I have an issue with this because, okay, great, we're going to make, this is an estimated amount of money we're going to get for the city. So instead of just, it's like, kind of like when I don't know, I'll use myself as an example. So I get, I don't know, in the past, I've gotten a big bonus at work, and the first thing I want to do is go buy a new rifle, right? And so, in thinking about it, it's probably not a good idea. If we're gonna make extra money because of something I'm doing well, then maybe I should save it and not be in further debt. It's kind of a personal example, but I think it's the key here, because if we're gonna be making $3 million a year, why immediately move to add 7 full-time equivalent people to the city to take away an estimated $1 million of that just in staffing? Now, this is how they came up with this number. Was, again, it was Harper doing most of the questions on this. The answer to how they came up with this 7 people is that they all I can really say is it's based on other cities, Long Beach, Santa Ana. They're taking their models and applying it to what they project Long Beach will need. And what I would rather see is, let's see how it goes, and then we can make some adjustments and add if it's really going well and it really is going to create a need for more staff, then we add them. We don't front load based on projections that we have no idea about. There's no data being looked at to pull these numbers up. There's no specific projections for our city on what it would look like in our city and why that would justify 7 new staff. So this is all conjecture, it's all guessing, and I can tell you this much: when it comes to FTE, I can use a recent example. So I manage 27 FTE at the VA. It's a big healthcare area in mental health, all about patient mental health. And since I've been there the last 5 years, we've grown a lot. And what I have done is, there has been times when I've gone to leadership and said, hey, I would like some more FTE based on this new section I opened, or this growth that I've experienced. And their answer to me was like, we appreciate it. Let's see how it goes for the next year. And if this holds for your areas and this growth continues on its trend, then we'll look at getting you some more FTE. And that was, a year later after that, I actually was able to add 2, and I really had to show through data and through real world frontline proof in numbers, this is what I was, this is where I am now, and this is what I need, and this is why. So this is what I would like to see the city do before taking a guess on how much we're going to receive in tax revenue first, and then even further a guess on what we're going to need to staff that guess. that's where I'm at with these things, you guys. And again, these are just proposals, first blush at both initiatives. That's how I feel. Be kind to yourself. Be good to each other. Together we can get it done. Bye for now.